Hello everyone, and welcome back to ranking stuff because I'm creative. Yeah. And it's not a competition as to what's worst. It's what's actually kind of lower on the best kind of weapon scale. If you know what I mean? You know what I mean. But yeah, let's get started. At the bottom we have the Prowler SMG. The only problem with the Prowler is that it kind of cascades into failure. If you miss a single burst, like a single start of a burst, the rest of the burst is going to miss, unless that person is jumping at you, really. But it's got fantastic hip fire. It's got all the things a good SMG needs, except the MG part, as in, it's, I miss full auto Prowler. I'll be honest right now. I miss full auto Prowler. That thing was insane. Doesn't matter. I mean, no scoping, like right there. You miss the first shot of your burst, you're not going to hit the rest because of its recoil, and that is the only problem. If I'm looking for an SMG, I want something that will hit, something sturdy and really consistent. But let's move on to the next SMG on our list, which is unfortunately the car. I love this thing when it came out, but I don't know what it is. It has the highest DPS in the game at 201, as in it can kill you in 1 second. Unless you, of course, you have red armor, but that's not the most common thing in the world. Its drop-off is its consistency, because, its availability, like attachments are easy to find, because you can have either mag, ammo's easy to find because you can switch, it's not that bad. But its hip fire is pretty bad, and I usually end up not being able to finish my opponents with a single clip because they're moving. And people are gonna move. It happens. But I'd like a gun that can fight that. And this really isn't it. It's hard to track. It's hard to move, and it's got some harsh recoil for its fire rate. It starts out low and hard, and then it just gets soft. Next, we have the Volt. Now, I know care package weapon. It's probably a lot of people's favorite weapon in the game, but that's just the thing for me. It kind of is like the car and the Prowler. You miss a couple shots, it's just going to keep getting worse until you either stop firing or forcibly push it back down because it kicks, and I don't like that in SMG. I mean, a barrel stabilizer. This comes equipped with one, and if the recoil is still like this, I'd hate to see it without one. The other downside, the only reason it's actually below the other weapons coming up, is it's so hard to find. And by the time you do find it, you have weapons you're going to keep in-game style. It's just not worth it. R99 is in second place. I bet you're thinking that was probably first place. But no. This thing's recoil is amazing for its fire rate. DPS of 198, putting it above several others. Most other weapons in the game, actually. And it has viability at multiple ranges. Its fire rate makes it, so what was that? It was Seer from a different server. Piercing reality and all that kind of stuff. Doesn't matter. Its hip fire, while not the best, is the only reason it's lower. You have, its reload speed is fantastic so long as you're not rechambering it. And its range viability is next to unparalleled for an SMG. It's fantastic. And even moving targets at a range, its projectile speed is fairly good for an SMG. There are definitely slower ones, like the next one we're talking about, which happens to be number one and quite shocking for a lot of people, I imagine. It's the alternator. Now, I know a lot of people are probably like, what do you mean? Are you an idiot? And the answer to both of those is yes, somehow. Doesn't matter. This thing is the flat line of SMGs. It's got the best hip fire possibly in the game. It's got amazing reliability. There's no gun more reliable than this thing, I don't think. So, I'm going to end it with that. Next up is going to be the most controversial of them all, LMGs. I'm not looking forward to it, but maybe you are.